Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Hammond. I'm a husband, a father of two daughters, a member of the Knights of Columbus here in Ottawa, and I live with mental illness. Now, you might be thinking, why would I just come out and say something like that? Well, I'll answer that question by posing another question. How many who are watching this video have broken their arm playing sports maybe in their lives or broken their leg? Who who might be watching this has battled cancer or knows someone in their family that is battling cancer. In each case, when you break a leg, when you break an arm, or when, God forbid, you're dealing with cancer, something physical is happening in your body. And the same is true with mental illness, only it's happening in your brain and people can't see it. It's happening in your nervous system. People can't see it. There are nerves, chemical reactions, and electrical impulses happening all day, every day, all through the night in your brain. And that doesn't always go completely perfectly. And with people with mental illness, we have to deal with the fact that some of the functions in our brain and nervous system don't happen perfectly. So we're not afraid to talk about cancer, are we? We don't shy away from talking about maybe a broken leg or a broken arm. Usually they come with interesting stories. Yet we don't want to talk about mental health. But that's something I want to change. And I think it's something that the Knights can change. For several years, I've worked with the Federal Speakers Bureau, which I should say the Federal Speakers Bureau on Mental Health, which is a group of federal public servants, so people who work in the federal government, who share their stories about mental health as a way of changing the conversations. Now, I would like for Knights to have a similar conversation. Why? Because as Knights, we're already there for each other. We know this through wars, natural disasters, or if one of our brothers dies and their family is in need. We take care of our brothers and their families no matter what. It's what we do as Knights. So I want to share my story with you in your council at some point to show you how easy it can be to tackle this subject and how easy it can be to help a brother who is suffering. I'm not saying it's an easy process. I'm saying how easy it can be. Real quick, I'll share a couple of anecdotes with you, which include help from fellow Knights. I remember one time when I was suffering from depression, anxiety, insomnia, and drug withdrawal, because I was switching my depression medication at the time, and I was doing this in the middle of a Canadian winter. And I spoke to my brother, who was also a member of the Knights of Columbus. He told me in that phone call how great it was to give back and how great it felt to have brothers that support you no matter what, who are always there to help. He knew I was suffering, and magically, he didn't feel he needed to tell me to pick myself up by the bootstraps or you'll feel better tomorrow or any one of those other things that sometimes we feel compelled to say, but maybe they don't really mean anything. And that's your first quick tip. You don't need to say anything if you want to help someone. Sometimes you just need to be there. But I mentioned that conversation with my brother because my brother knew intuitively that he just needed to be there for me. And I really, really thank him for that. And the reason I do is one day at work, this was after I had overcome this bout, I was kind of staring at my screen, zoning out. And in the middle, and this was in the middle of a very stressful time for me at work, I knew I was going to join the Knights of Columbus. There was just this thought that popped into my head that said, Mike, you're going to join the Knights. And I'm not sure where that thought came from, but maybe it was divine intervention. So it wasn't long after that I joined my local council, became the third generation in my family, along with my brother, to be a Knight. Now, I'll mention one other quick thing. Another time, this was around the same time when I was at the lowest point of my life, and I went to see our parish priest, since again, I was suffering from depression, anxiety, withdrawal because I was going through a change of medication and I was dealing with insomnia. And when I say insomnia, I mean insomnia. I had gone at certain points 4 days without sleep. So it was a terrible time. Our parish priest, Father Brian, who was also a Knight, administered the sacrament of the sick for me, sat me down, and he very briefly began to teach me what thankfulness is about, what mindfulness is about in his own unique way. I remember him telling me, he said, do you ever marvel at what a miracle it is that you turn on a tap and water just magically comes out. He said, do you ever wonder what a miracle it is that you walk into a room and you flick a switch and electricity magically appears? Now, he was there for me and he didn't judge me and he didn't feel the need to say the right thing. He just reminded me of all the blessings I had in my life that I wasn't really seeing through the fog of my sickness. So a strange thing happened after that conversation. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about what this man was saying about, did I really have all these things in my life that are blessings that I really couldn't see, that I really couldn't feel? I don't know why. I don't know about you out there, but how many people can, I don't perfectly recall a conversation you had, I don't know, 5 days ago. Never mind, this conversation was fixed in my brain for the better part of a year. Again, I really think that was divine intervention. I really think that was a miracle in my life. I think that was God saying, kid, you're going to remember this conversation because it's going to make a difference. And it wasn't long after that that I became much more involved in my church. As I said, I became a knight and things started clicking together for me. But I mean, that's another story. But what the point I'm trying to get across is, as brothers, as knights, as an organization, we already have all the structures in place. We have the support in place. We have the philosophy in place to be there for our brothers no matter what. And I really think we can take these principles of our order and apply them to mental health. And I think the rewards are obvious. If we are able to help a brother who is in trouble and we can maybe help them turn their life around or stabilize their life, that person, I think, is going to be more thankful. That person's going to be a more productive part of our order. That person's going to give back. I truly believe that because that's what happened to me. And I know it can happen for other people as well. So here's my offer to you, the Knights. I'm willing to share my story. It's something I already do. It's something I feel that God has compelled me to share as a way of, I don't know, fulfilling my ministry while here on earth. I truly believe that. And I think we have a big opportunity as the Knights of Columbus to tackle mental health and to make a real difference in our lives, for our order, for our community, for our countries, for the world. So I'm here. I'm willing to offer my story to you and to your council, to my fellow brothers. And I really think we need to get this initiative started, and I hope you will join me. Thank you so much. God bless. Viva Jésus.